so much for staying with us right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. It's Wednesday, it's midweek already, the 25th day in the month of March 2026. So, how's your week going? How are the deadlines? How um are the meetings and all of everything that you need to meet up with? How is it all going for you? Don't worry, there's another public holiday in sight. It's in sight. So don't worry, just relax. Next week, I'm sure, we'll definitely get to have that public holiday. All right. So yeah, I know some of my colleagues that have actually, put down all the public holidays for this year already. So they already know when we can shall be funny, but it's all good. This is HerLens, where we discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues on Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. Yes, Ekaro, Ututuoma, Inakwano Moduka. I hope we slept well. I hope we're feeling great today. I hope we're going about our businesses and doing well overall. All right. So Halens, of course, comes to you Mondays to Fridays, and there is a couple of things that we'll definitely get to talk about this morning. But before then, Buki was on Daily News Review with myself and Fumi, and Buki is also here this morning on Halens. Hi, Buki. It's good to have you here too.
Good morning once again, and morning to all Alan's family. How are we doing?
All right, we're doing fine. We're doing well. Let me answer for our family members. We're doing
Okay, then it's nice. Answer for them now.
we did all right. We did kajad. Okay, so that's the voice of Buki. Hopefully, we get to have the other ladies join us pretty much soon on the program. So, do want to be a part of it. Dial 091. Yeah, send us WhatsApp messages and text messages on 08155917917. Do well to also go ahead and send us messages through 070 317 56537. Don't forget we're live on YouTube. Do well to join us on YouTube at WFM 917, on Facebook, Instagram, and X WFM 917. Listen live from many parts of the world by logging on to www.wfm917.com. Yes, don't forget to download our mobile app. You can download our mobile app from Google Play Store, from um, Apple Store. Yeah, Women Radio or WFM 91.7. You'll definitely get to see us, follow us, and of course, listen to us from any part of the world. All right, let's head on to the very first issue that we'll be talking about now. This particular video trended, but what it was trending about, it's quite sad that this has, to some extent become the reality of a lot of Nigerian women. All right, so this particular, now the extended video of this, is on YouTube, but just for this clip, now this man was lamenting how, oh, they didn't have money, and then, to the extent that their rent was due and all of that. So the woman, his wife, brought, gave them a way out of it, saying that, oh, they can actually, there's an apartment they can go into. She has spoken to the landlord, Kiniko, and all of that. The landlord has given them some kind of discount or something like that. Shall reduce, the finances on how to get in. So they got in and paid the rent and all on. They've been living in that house. Unknowing to the man, the wife is the owner of the house, and that's not the only house she owns. She owns other houses and a couple of super markets, or what do you call the building that houses different shops. So she has all of that, but the man did not know anything about it. In fact, the house they live in, every year rent increases, and she is the owner of the house. So she goes through her agent. So the agent comes and collects money. How did he get to know about this? I think he was doing something with her phone, and then the message from the agent came in. And that's what actually prompted his curiosity. And he kept on thinking, to the extent that he saw all of these things. Okay, the houses, the what do you call it? Is it supermarket? No, it's not supermarket. What's the name of the building that owns the houses, shops,
So,
different shops?
the
Sorry?
mall, More.
Yeah, more. So she has something like that. And for him, it's like, why should his wife own all of these things and then still watch them suffer, still allow him to be paying rent and even increasing rent every, every year. And then they came back to the woman and there was she had to go back to remember how her father treated her mother. And that actually made her to take some of the decisions she's taken. Because as far as they're concerned, the way the father treated her mother, you cannot trust, a man to that extent. So apparently, her mom, was the breadwinner of the home. But all of what she did was in the husband's name. Documents, houses, all of it was in the husband's name. When she fell ill, that's how her father, did not even remove a penny to take care of her. They had to go back to the village. So that all of this kinds of treatments made her to take up some of these decisions or to do what she's doing. Because I mean, I need to fend for myself, I need to fend for my family. And you know what, Buki? Something similar happened to a friend of mine who lives in Abuja. Now, unknown to us, when we were in school in Benin University, so this she and her elder sister, yeah, I think the mother gave birth to about five girls or so. But the first daughter died, so just left with four girls. Now, three of those four girls attended the private university that I attended. Okay. And as of then, school fees was like whether 150 or 200K. Okay, so now this woman, in fact, for all we know, it was the father that was paying the school fees. For all we know, anytime these girls had issues with school, one payment or that, they were always calling their father, not knowing that it was the mother that was giving the father the money to pay all of these things. And the girls did not even know until their mother died. That was when everything started becoming clear. She was the one paying their school fees, and that three of them went to that private university. She was the one paying it. The house they are living in, she was the one. She built the house. In fact, she built it with a place where she built it and then puts one part of the house for rent and then the place where they stay. So it's like a two-bedroom flat, like double of it, by the side, and then their own family home on the other side, and then they had a shop in the compound because I've visited them before. So none of this thing. So when the lady called me, like early late last year, and she was like, Rose, the things that our eyes are seeing. Do you know that the father now, if not because the mother, I don't even know how God helped her to put just one of the daughter's name in the house documents. Three of them now, look, one is married. Yeah, and three of them still stay in the house. One is married. There are four girls. So the three of them now would probably be renting a house outside. But God just helped that woman to put just one of the daughter's name in the house documents. Now, do you know what their father did? Their father has now gone back. As I'm speaking to you now, let's not forget that these girls that I'm talking to you, the smallest one, the youngest one, should be maybe close to 30 now, or maybe in her early 30s. That's the youngest one. Oh. Now, these ladies that I'm talking to you, their father now, so imagine how old their father is. Do you know that the man went to look for another woman? This one, we don't even know whether he married her or we don't know that he wants to have a male child. And he did not even tell these girls about it. They had to hear it outside that your father has a son now. And they all of them were like, how? From how did our father have a son? And up to today, he has never sat them down to tell them that this is it. So every day he would go, every week, once it's Monday, he would go and spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with the wife and the son, and then come back, maybe spend Friday, or maybe come back on Saturday evening because of church, because he's a leader in the church. Go to church on Sunday, and then Monday he's back to the other family that he has probably not married well, and the other family is saying that that is his son. And I was asking her, how sure are you that that boy is his son? And she was like, well, as far as he's concerned, that is his hope. So all of the rent that he's collecting, none goes to those girls. The only thing that is helping those girls is just that one person's name is in the document. That is the only thing that is still keeping them in the house, and there's nothing he can do about it. That he has tried, gone to court, gone to different places to try to change those documents, but nobody is giving him ears because the name of that lady is still in those documents. There's no how he can do with it. He can't go forge it. He can't go remove it. He just couldn't do that. So I'm very sure he didn't even know that that was how the documents was before the woman died. So I'm not saying that, and she died out of stroke. So I'm not saying that maybe these are the things that contributed to that woman's death, because she had the stroke and she could not talk for a long while. So I'm sure that she had a lot of things that should have wanted to tell those girls, but no. So at the end of the day, we just realized that the woman was covering a lot of things that their father was not up to. She was covering and she kept taking it in till the point where probably her BP couldn't hold it anymore. And before you know it, stroke came and part of her body was paralyzed. She couldn't talk. At some point, she was just bedridden. In fact, ah, Buki, some women they suffer. Oh. So when you see women like this coming up with this kind of mindset, saying that even if I own property, I do this, so my husband will not know, nobody else will know. Yeah, I'm just securing myself and my children. Would you want to blame them? Or even if their partners are good partners, so would you not want to blame them? Okay, over to you because it's quite a lot. Hmm.
Yes, it is a lot. And we're not here to judge anybody because you have not walked the road with them. You do not know where they are coming from. Everybody has their experiences, everybody has seen, um, maybe from their parents, from family members, from what they hear in the community, that a whole lot of time women, I mean, let's go back, the way we were raised, oh, support your husband, and all that. So you find out that the era of our mom, um, I mean, those that probably about 80, whatever, you find them that they were the backbone. Some of them were the backbone of their husbands. They were working, and doing all that. I mean, for instance, in my own family, I mean, I got to know the history. You know, my mom was the one taking care of food, and we had relatives from my father's side
Hmm.
taking care of food, anything that has to do with food welfare in the house was my mom's salary and my dad. And my dad was what? Building the house. So that was how they agreed within themselves. Yeah. So, at some point, things flipped. Second wife came in and it was like inside this house that I labored in. You understand? So
Imagine, second wife.
so so you know so everybody has their own fair share of this, but the lesson, like we always say, here, that we bring up the points and we say what is the way forward. A lot of women have been bruised. Look at this example you mentioned. The man was very comfortable. It was, for me, it was more laid back. The wife was the one doing everything. And I'm sure the wife must have been schooled. I mean, her mindset was just support your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Just support your husband. But meanwhile, the husband did not do the right thing, was not even appreciative. Because if he was, I mean, he would, at this point that the children are adults, he would have to sit them down to say, you know what, this your mom was my pillar. You understand?
Mm.
And that the money that he's using now to take care of one wife somewhere belongs to himself and the children. Now, if care is not taken, that wife in that village or wherever will be thinking that it is that man that owns the house.
Yes.
And somewhere along the line, you say that because it's the boy is the one that is inheriting something
Mm-hmm.
that the woman suffered for. So these are things that people see. And then back to the story that we started with. The lady did explain why she did that. Fine. At the end of the day, she admitted she was sorry that she went out of line, which I think she did, and I will explain why. You understand? She said when she was growing up, the mom was there. The mom was supporting the man, supporting the backbone. You understand? And at a point when she was sick, the man abandoned her.
Mm-hmm.
The man abandoned her, that they suffered. So the riches that the woman was supporting, we women, God has designed us that when we love somebody and we want to have a future with this person, and more often when we even have children for that person, you understand, we put everything into it to ensure that the man succeeds. And then at the point where the man now succeeds and there is money and all that, many a times that is when the man will now say, "Oh, you're no longer in my class anymore. I want to go and marry a younger person. I want to go and marry somebody who is educated." All those funny things that we hear. Or they just abandon, particularly when it comes to sickness, they just abandon it. I'm not saying all men do that. We celebrate men that have stood with their wives through thick and thin, that we know some men. Today we celebrate you. If you are that man, you know yourself. We celebrate you today in WFM. But let us talk to those men that the woman will suffer, 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 suffer. And at the end of the day, when it's time to harvest, you just kick off. You don't even, I've seen many like that. That was what that girl saw. And she vowed that my money is my money.
My money.
She's obviously, you can see the way she was talking. She was talking from trauma. She has been traumatized. We don't know what she saw or what she went through when she was growing up. She must have been discussing with the mother, and the mother said, "Oh, they paid us this, I gave it to your daddy. Oh, I did this business, I gave it to your daddy." Or maybe it is even possible that instead of the mother buying clothes, buying this for herself, she said, "Ah, no, I'm going to do it for my husband." You understand, women are like that. And that is why she's coming from that angle to say, "You know what? My money, I won't even allow my husband to know what it is." Is that a good one? I want to come from an angle of kingdom, talking about Christians now, because that's
Mm.
the one me I can talk about. I don't know about other religion, but I know that if you know God, if you know God, though, if you know God and you have a good relationship with God, that woman crossed her line, particularly when they were suffering.
Hmm.
When they were suffering, number one, she ought not to have collected rent because she was staying there. It's for the children. Even
Yeah.
if you're not even looking at your husband,
Hmm.
it's for
At least
children.
for that house that you people are staying in. The
Exactly.
other ones,
Yes,
people will ask you, "Okay,
I'm
please
sure she
stay."
will have thought of, okay, will I now tell my husband that the landlord gave us free of charge or
Mm.
something? And then the man will now begin to think that, are you having an affair with the whatever or with the this? At that point, yes, she could have actually said, "You know what? I have been saving up and blah blah blah. We have a house and things like that." Even if it's just that one they were living in. So the man now will now begin to that. So everything you have been saying, it's just full of lies. I pray that, they will be able to go through therapy. I think it was a therapy session, and they will be able to heal, so that both of them will see their mistakes. And also the man also has to sit back and reflect that have I tried to change the impression she has about men?
Mm.
I do not know. We didn't sit with them, we didn't live with them. So all what we are saying is just a discussion that we had within 5 minutes. You understand? It could have changed the woman's perspective, even despite the fact that she was going through trauma and she needed to be healed. And she ought to know, the lady now ought to know that this man is not my father. They're two different things. Though some bit of researchers have also said that at times you try to marry somebody like your father. I've not done a research on that, but I hear people say that. I mean, I don't know if it's true. Please don't ask me. So possibly somehow she was glued to that, and maybe the man had made one or two, things that she said, when you see your trigger point, that thing lost bagang bagang bagang, But I'm happy that they met a therapy, and let us learn from them.
Hmm.
If it is a Christian home,
Yeah.
I am very, on her, because there are some men that you try to do that to even now, and at the end of the day, the way they will treat you when you are down, or when you are sick, or when you are ill, or when you don't even have money anymore, they see you as trash. And then you now begin to say, with all that they have done. And then the next is that, what did you do? Didn't you do it for your children? No, that is a heart of ungratefulness. And we're not like that. If a woman comes into your life and a woman helps you, a woman supports you, you should show appreciation. And let the children learn from you. But back to the core now. If it's a Christian home, like I said, I can only talk about that. But I also know that other faiths, have that as well. God did not create a man to be a beast or to be an ungrateful person. You understand? And when you come into the institution of marriage, let us be clear. When you come into the institution of marriage,
Hmm.
yes, the lawyers will tell you that even if you want to have a property, as a woman, you can actually have it in your name, right? It is because of future. Something happens to you, the man can decide to go and remarry.
Yep.
And if the man decides to go and remarry, and the man does not marry a rightful thinking woman, and you have gone to put Mr. and Mrs. John, she can come and take over and say she too, she's Mrs. John. So the lawyers have said, even when you want to have a joint whatever, you put Mrs. Abosede Kiniko John
Hmm.
and Mr. Kiniko John. And then, of course, I know people do not like all these things, but you just have to face reality. When you know you have that kind of environment, what stops you from doing your will? That does not mean that you are going to die. You're only securing, the interest of your children. Thankfully, that woman did that. You can imagine if that woman did not put the name of that child there
Wow.
in your own case.
Hmm.
That's it. And then those children, now they now know, if the father, if the father did not do so well, just like you said, the father did not do well for them, they will carry that baggage into another man's home. And
True.
then they also will say, you know what? I am not going to suffer for you. That is why they say your money is our money, my own money is my money. It comes from somewhere. So I want to challenge men today, particularly those who reason like that. Can we begin to change these things? Can we begin to change these things and even for you, when a woman supports you and you appreciate it, you should consider yourself being blessed, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to create a monster out of a woman, or
Nope.
even monsters from your children, because don't think that they don't see. When they are old, they will begin to see things. And we want to create balanced children into the society. So it starts from you. So I'm talking to you today just in case you are those type of men that women will support, they will help you, you understand, and then you succeed. And then the next thing is that, hey, you dish them out. Though we've also mentioned it to women, as you are helping the man, be supporting yourself as well. Because these are the days that you have to open your eye, you have to shine your eye. And it's even good for you. Nothing stops you. Yes, you have your money and you are investing it in your name, and the next of kin will be your children, because anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
That's true. Anything can happen. We're not saying, oh, do not trust your husband. Yes, let your husband know. And even, there are some men that even when they know that their wives have money, how they want to get that money is what they'll be looking out for. That is wrong. Don't do that. There's some men like that. That is when they'll come and say, oh, there's one business somewhere.
All right.
There's
Okay, just a
something.
minute. Let's try this call. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning. Elizabeth. How are you, Elizabeth?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm okay. Thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay. Most times, our gender or victim,
Hmm.
and we condemn men. But on this case, I'm not saying that man is a perfect man, but I must confess that I judge that woman as a wicked woman.
Hmm.
You ask me why? The fact that you had an experience, and it was a bitter one that happened to your mother. You need the man who was wicked to your mother. What she engaged herself in, is that not wicked? You said you love somebody and you got married to the person. You don't want to fall victim of what your mother fell victim of. I think what she should have just done is to ensure that she protected herself. They're not against the family. How do I mean? In marriage, it's not something that we can just push aside. If you say you have become one, if I don't want to even go into Christianity, I'm a Christian. But then you are married to somebody that is what to do or that is living fine. From what I gathered before I got to this program, they've been married for 10 years. 10 years of marriage.
Hmm.
And the woman kept a secret so much. The mall, whether it was small, they were malls. I learned about maybe 5, whether supermarket or mall.
Yeah, malls,
I
yes.
mean, in Nigeria, you will see the any money, either annually or monthly. And we should be able to live comfortably. I have other houses, about 10 houses from what I gather. And you are collecting rent. From what they said, there was a time they were having challenge with accommodation, like you also said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody on Zoom. It's possible that there are children in between them. I want to believe.
There are children.
So, what's going on? You are very much comfortable. Well, if this man did not get house, we will continue to suffer like that. In short, we get to the children themselves. Because what he was trying to do, just not to suffer from the father, is not affecting the children. How will somebody have such a thing like that, a woman? The children cannot eat comfortably. That's what it will mean. Because the man would have discovered that this woman is worth more than this. In 10 years, if she had been coming up with finances, with money to support the family. It's extended to the children. And I would also like to say, this woman, something went wrong with her one day. Because I don't want to believe that the children are aware of what she had. The kind of those properties that she had. I'm saying become of it. We have many cases of men that have accounts in the bank, and the bankers are just enjoying their money after they are done. There have been cases of and they didn't carry their family along. What's become of it? We should learn. They are trying to prevent some things to yourself. They're finding a way, having a balance such that you don't exhibit the wickedness that you have seen others exhibited to your mom or to your dad. Personally, I'm the guy to make myself an example. I was in my marriage. I had some things which my husband never had. I must tell you, he lived up at the time. The dream of sincerity is what God is using to fight my battles. And you are playing hide and seek game. You can do because it's frugal. You just be wise and know how to save. Simple.
All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for calling. We do appreciate your call this morning. All right, Buki. I know when you started, you said it's not for us to judge, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I've been
because
saying, no, this one is wicked.
no, and that was why I said
Mm,
she crossed the line, because she did not even allow the children to enjoy from her wealth. You understand?
mm,
Because there are children in there. And the man was saying that, so you allowed us. I had that when the man said, you allowed us, even and your own children, even to suffer.
mm,
But you see, I see beyond this. That woman is sick. Do you know why I'm concluding this?
mm.
Even to her, she herself should she did not even enjoy the wealth.
She did not.
Because there is no way, if I'm eating chicken and turkey and roasted whatever in the house, and I will not give it to my children, even if I don't want to give it to my husband. So that means she herself, she pretended, you understand, that there was just no money.
For 10 years.
So the question is, all those monies, what was she doing with it? She was just putting it in a bank or what?
Building more houses.
Or building more houses. In whose name? Like the last caller said, in whose name? Because we didn't get to hear that. If it was in the name of the children, yeah, I'll give that to her. You understand? But my own is that she crossed the line when even the family was suffering and she did not say anything. She did not do anything. And she was collecting rent from her husband that she knows was even struggling. Abba. Now, you understand? Well, however, let's balance it
Was
up.
increasing rent every year.
And she was increasing rent every year. That's why I say I think she's sick somewhere. You understand? I mean, like I said, I don't know what she went through. And that was why I said, let us not judge. Because I have seen situations, practical situations around me. And you will say, oh, that was why she did it. Look at you, the example you gave. But however, that's why I said we all need to go through healing, particularly when you want to go into the marriage institution. It's not just for you alone, but for the children you want to bring, because you don't want to bring up children that are traumatized, that will continue the thing. So if you have gone through issues, childhood trauma and things like that, hey, thank God for the awareness. Subject yourself to therapy. Let them heal you of it so that it does not become a baggage that you carry into your home. And like I said, because I also need to balance it up.
Yeah.
If you know your husband's character, that once he hears there is money somewhere, he lavishes it, and you are not that type of person, you have to let him know that you are principled. This money is investment. Lock it up, and nothing can happen to it. However, there are some other instances that even immediately they know, they start putting pressure on you. They start putting pressure on you that money, you must bring it. They will now begin to paint you black, just to get that money. Those are the kind of men I'm saying, you don't do that. That is very wrong. We are not saying that women will not support you, but when you see that she's building her own, you should be confident. You should even be happy
Yes.
that she's doing it. The only thing you can just guide her, that just make sure that next of kin, your children know,
Mm.
I mean, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a mother. You understand? So for those who know, because I've seen a case where there was a lady that she knew her husband was just I don't want to use that word useless. That once she has money, the next thing is that the man is always what will look for one business. She said, let's do this thing, let's do this thing. Out of love, she kept doing it, until she wise up. So when I say that this man, you have anytime you gather money, you give it to this man, and this man has been there 3 years, 4 years. What kind of business? The next thing you say, it was a scammer, that business was not good, and somebody is doing that. And of course, she was advised. I said, look, Why don't you just keep your money and invest your money for yourself and your children? That does not mean the man will not eat in the house. So, yes, give him food, buy clothes for him. You understand? Buy clothes for him. That is your cross. So you have to carry your cross. At least the man is not beating you. So you want to eat good food, cook for everybody. You understand? Let him make use of the car. You understand? But to now put money into his hand to say you're going to do business. Why? Because you have done it over and over and over and over again, and you just find out that he takes the money and he just lavishes it. It's not because business fails. He just like he said, well, my wife is my provider. You understand? So you know that such men too are sick. So I hope I've been able to balance it up so that I don't want somebody to run with something and say, this woman said, Bukola said this. You've got to look at, who did you marry? What is the institution, that brought you together? And that's why I said I am looking at from the side of a Christian, because that is one I can talk authoritatively about, that we're supposed to love one another. It's 1 + 1 becomes 1. You understand? And in this case, both parties, both the husband and the wife, they must trust one another and they must not defraud one another. But when you begin to break the trust, you won't expect a woman to say, oh, because it's a Christian marriage, you have broken the trust, to you ran away, okay, so all the money will come to you. At that point, you have to shift and focus on yourself and focus on your children. And that was why I said that lady crossed the line. She made her children suffer when she had the money. Then another thing that is amazing me is that I'm so suspecting their relationship, because how can you say you got married? Okay, maybe this thing started maybe 5 years into the marriage. Maybe it wasn't immediately they got married. They've been there for 10 years. So this one was doing all this and the man did not know at all. Okay, so what happens? Okay, when she's talking to the bricklayers, when she's talking to this, even if she's talking in the middle of the night, don't you see those creeping whatever, or maybe what work was she doing? It gets as a bisha, but you understand where I'm going at. It looks as if there's something funny about their relationship. Maybe he's the type of man that, just goes, probably he travels and he just comes back 3 days and he goes. But if somebody is living with you every day, you don't listen to her calls, right? Even friends around, does that mean that you don't go out together? That somebody will have stopped her on the way to say, madam, thank you for that kiniko. Oh, yes. I don't know. Or is it that she just disguised, she was intentionally about it, that she really disguised? I don't know. I don't know.
That trauma trauma was just talking, through.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying that for those who go through trauma, particularly if you've gone through a lot of issues in your childhood, please submit yourself to therapy. Get healed, so that you don't keep spreading it.
Okay. I mean, a lot of things are going on in our families. I just hope that we know that children you raise watch you. They watch you at every point. Presently now, there is, a case that my dad is just trying to see how he can manage. This young girl was staying with us. She went to the village, got pregnant, and then, decided that, she wants to stay with the guy. The guy came around, picked her, went back to, his own home. But as it is right now, he's not treating her well. So she's close to, in fact, maybe she's giving birth this month. And then just last week, the guy comes back home just because he sees a foreign number not a foreign number, an unknown number calling his wife. And then he just flares up. Now, this same number was calling her previously. She changed SIM and the same number kept calling her. So how did the person get the number? But anyway, that story for another day. So he's now saying that she has to tell him who the person is. And she kept saying she doesn't know this person. In fact, she picked this person's call in front of him. The person at the other end did not even say anything. But still, he didn't agree. He he pushed this lady out in the night, eh, to go back to our house. So with all of these things that are going on, anyway, let's pick this call before I come back to what I'm saying. Hello, good morning. Oh, all right, we missed that call. So he pushed her out and all of that. And now, his family members are now coming to say, oh, this and that. So well, my point here is that they have two other girls, young children who are watching all of these things. And tomorrow now, do you want these girls to grow up and have a good description of who their father is? And let's not forget that sometimes you'll be hearing these children I'm talking to, they are just below probably 6 years old. All of them, both of them are below 5 or 6 years. You hear the eldest one saying, Shebi is daddy that did not allow mommy go to church. Shebi is daddy that was shouting on mommy. Shebi is daddy that did not give mommy food, mommy money to cook food for us. So you hear her bringing up this kind of comment. And tomorrow now, sure you want that kind of lady to grow up and want to have full confidence that yes, she can actually get, a stage where she can get married to a man who is ready to protect her interest, and not make her go through the things that her mother has gone through.
So there are two options for such people. Some of them will say, you know what, I don't want this to happen to me. So what are the things I need to do, so that this does not happen to me? That's one option. The second option is, which most people go through, that my fee, my shame, football boy. You understand? And that's why I'm advocating that people who have gone through childhood trauma, they should get healed. They should get healed for the sake of the children and for the sake of the community.
All right. This is where we wrap it up today. Tomorrow is another day. We'll come here and look at all of these issues. Okay, let's see if we can give room for this call. Hello, good morning.
Morning, man.
Hi, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Albert is my name. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Albert from Ikorodu, you're very much welcome. Please go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Well done, man.
Yeah.
Conversation. You see, I discovered one thing in this life. You marry, you are made the devil your father-in-law automatically. So I do advocate for people who say that going to church does not matter, religion it does not matter. But when you go there, you will learn things. See, this family is here and there, because I discovered that if a man did not know God, the man does not know Christ at all. The difference that someone who just go to church and listen to the word. So mental care matters. And when you say train up a child, the training is talking about, if you follow your footsteps in life. If you and most of the times you don't ask questions. Like me, I vow in my life not.
The call has gone off. Please do well to call us back. I think we still have about 2-3 minutes to go. If you can, Albert, do well to call us back. Yeah. So towing the line of Albert, he's talking about religious marriages, knowing God, because that's it. Because person will get fear of God, even if you're not a like a Bible, like from book or from back to cover. How would I put this English? Even if the way they
talk about, if you have values,
you go shout.
If you have values, good values, you won't treat that to somebody who supported you.
Yeah.
And as a man, you won't do that. You know that this woman suffered for me to get to this place. You remember in those days of our mothers, they will be working, and then the man will be going to school. And when the man finishes and comes back, and then to now be like, you are not my class anymore, because she stopped. And that's why we also say that women, please, as you are also helping, right? Also help yourself, because of the future. Don't let your life be stagnant. You understand? For instance, like that lady, that the lady we are talking about now, I will still think she's sick, because I will have expected that, okay, all this investment, were you doing it also in the name? Does the children have shares? Those properties you are building, did you put it beside your children? And then if she now says, "Oh no, it was," then I'll know that totally you are sick. Just submit yourself to therapy because you should be protecting your children.
Children, yeah. If
Yeah,
not for
you
anything,
should
let
be.
it be that let
Even,
my children
even
not
if
put
you don't want to
things like
protect
this.
your
Yeah.
husband. But we are also coming from the angle that if you have said you want to marry, you love this person, then hey, 1 plus 1 becomes 1.
One. Exactly. Anyway, at the end of the day, marry a good person. We cannot overemphasize it.
A
Uh,
good person who has values. So there are some people that
yes,
have no get
exactly.
value.
Like settle your mind
Yeah.
down, go and
Values, godly
get a
values. I
partner
will even put
that
that godly
has
values.
godly values. Whether he's
And
a
who
Muslim
fears
or whether he's a Christian, no, make the person shall get godly value. Make you fear God. That is just it.
yeah,
Because if the person
yeah,
fear God, you no go want do anything we go make God vex. And you know say you self na God picking. So you no go want do something we
yeah,
go make you we be God picking vex. So
yeah.
let's settle our minds down, okay? And God help us to marry well. Chicken. If we're
Yeah.
able to do that, half of our problems in this world is solved. Honestly.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll come here again and go through with other conversation. A couple of things that I would have talked about, but this one is, in fact, I got it was just on the program. I saw it being a boss message that she will not be around this morning, no, but she would have really loved to, you know, add her voice to this. The thing being that
Yes, I mean, it will be good to hear our
so
side
maybe
too.
when
Yeah,
she comes around tomorrow, we could just give her a few minutes to express herself on this, and then we head on to all the other things. All right, so
yeah.
that's it on her lens this morning. Thank you so much to Elizabeth and Albert that called, and to each and every one of you who tuned in to listen to her lens this morning. Thank you so much, Buki. Do well to enjoy the rest of the day. Hopefully, we
And
get to
you
meet
too.
up tomorrow
You
morning
too.
right here on her
Yeah.
lens. All right, my name is Rose Yusuf Kaisho. Keep your dialogue right here